All right, I think we are recording now. Let me just switch the view so that I can actually see you bigger than I see myself. Okay,
There
let
we
me
go.
do a quick introduction. Hey, everybody, this is Chaya, and I am here with Kayleigh, our featured guest for today, in this week's edition of March Mentoring Mondays. And I'm really excited about getting to catch up with Kayleigh today. When I was selecting our featured aspiring superhumans for this series, I worked really hard to find a good collection of women from all different backgrounds and all different phases of life. And so I'm excited for you to get to meet Kayleigh. Now, Kayleigh, I'm going to let you introduce yourself just very quickly. I'll give you her quick rundown. Kayleigh lives in West Virginia. Is that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she's got 2 kids and a really fun story. So, Kayleigh, why don't you just take a very quick minute and tell everybody about you and your family?
Yes. So we live in West Virginia. I was born and raised here. And then when I was in college, my husband dared me to move to North Carolina with him. So I dropped everything and moved all the way down there and didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself in life. And then found myself in network marketing for about 10 years. And in that 10 years, we moved back home to West Virginia and got married and had 2 kids and been through that business and then owning a different business, which was professional organizing. And then a really fun opportunity in a real, not a real job, but a daytime job, which is 9 to 5, came open. And so it just really put all of my experience together in a nice, neat little package. And so I've been doing that for a year, and it's really, really fun. But it's just different than what I've been doing before. So it's been an adjusting to the 9 to 5 life and family life and all of that versus running my own business and running my life exactly the way I wanted it to. So that's my quick little rundown.
Excellent. Very cool. Now, your kids are how old?
3.5 and 2.
Okay. And they were in school. And you know what? Let me pause, because for anybody that may be watching this video in arrears, like watching it down the road, we are right now in the middle of the coronavirus madness explosion around the planet. The pandemic has turned into a pandemonium.
It is not a movie anymore. It's happening.
No. Oh, you want to say hello? My son just popped his head in and wants to say hello. Yeah, hello. Okay, I'll see you later. So her name's Kayleigh. She's a friend of mine. I'm working with her today. Okay, so in the middle of the coronavirus crisis, so you've been now all of a sudden, so you were a business owner, a contractor, and then you did your own business, and then you now transitioned into working through for another company, and you were doing out of the home 9 to 5, and now you have just this week transitioned to becoming a homeschooling homepreneur, meaning that you're being forced to work from home with your kids at home because of the coronavirus madness. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly right.
How's that going?
It's good so far. I started to really feel the stress of it yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, when am I going to see people again? But I was getting a little, and my Myers-Briggs puts me straight down the middle, 50% extrovert, 50% introvert. So I think my introvert had been maxed out and I was ready for the extrovert part again. But today I feel a little bit better, and I've been trying really hard to keep them on their daycare routine that they have at school, but implementing it here, and it's going okay. We're hanging in.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. Actually, I think I'm gonna send you, after we finish our chat here, I'm gonna send you an invitation, because I just finished my first ebook, and it's called The Black Book of Homeschooling Secrets. So I'll have to send it to you and let you dive into it and give me your feedback, because it definitely fits exactly where you are in life right now. And that is not an easy spot to be. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. So let's jump in. Now, I asked Kayleigh, how far back do we go? Like, when did our paths first originally cross?
So I joined the company in 2010. So it would have been very shortly after that that I found your resources.
Okay, so 10
And
years ago, and a lot has
yes,
changed in those 10
yes,
years. Now,
for
let me
both of
ask you
us.
something. I was looking at, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was looking here at your details. So I'm going to just share with everybody very quickly. Okay, you shared that you've got 3 main goals for 2020 and 3 main what you've identified as hurdles that you'll need to overcome in order to achieve those goals. Now, I'm going to share these goals with everybody, and then I'm going to ask you if they've changed at all due to the current situation with the, climate, economy, etc. So Kayleigh first said she wanted to pay off some credit card debt. She has 3 big house projects that she wants to finish and want to run a marathon. So are all 3 of those still the same, or has anything shifted in your world?
I would say that they are still the same. Yes.
Okay, great. So then her biggest hurdles are number 1, the constant need for validation. Number 2, the fear of failure and or success. And number 3, consistency. Okay, I think those are definitely, actually, if you look at both of them, the goals and the hurdles, I think these are things that a lot of people could relate to, because you've got one financial goal, you've got one personal goal, like a family goal, and then you have one fitness goal. Okay, excellent. And then your hurdles, need for validation, fear of success or failure, and consistency are definitely something that the vast majority of every female in the Western world could relate to. So those are fantastic. Okay, now before we go into those, before we really dig into those, I'm also going to just quickly share what your big questions were for today, so that we can kind of weave all of it together during our discussion. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. I keep looking down because I've got my notes that I get.
Absolutely. No problem. Okay. So question number 1, how to chase multiple goals in multiple areas at what time without feeling burnout or like you're chasing too many rabbits. Excellent. Number 2, how to have the courage to proceed with a new idea without needing so much validation. Number 3, what's the best way to re-engage an audience after you've been out of the loop for a while and you want to come back with a new message and a new focus? And let's see, how to basically decide and focus on between all the different goals and projects that you want to pursue at the same time. So how do I let go of the guilt and excitement of the others while focusing on one at a time? And how to manage your personality, and how to work on some personal development specifically related to your personality. Okay, very good. So let's jump in. We now have 9 months left. No, actually 8 months left in 2020. Okay, now for the purposes of this conversation, it would be foolish to completely ignore the global climate right now, okay? But the reality is that nobody knows exactly what the long-term impact is going to be, okay? So what the experts are recommending is that, we understand we're going to need a little bit of a pivot. We're going to need a little bit of repositioning. But for now, all things, remaining equal, all things remaining the same, we want to look at being able to pull ourselves out of this situation by end of summer, late fall, and into the winter. Okay, so we're going to use our most educated guess and go with that season, go with that hypothesis. Okay, now I want to ask you about the credit card debt. Because you are now in a, quote unquote set job. Okay, and I don't know what type of work your husband is in, but are both of you on set incomes, or do you have other flexible income opportunities as well?
Yes. So we are both on set incomes.
Okay.
with our jobs, that's what it is. That's how it is.
Yep.
I have for the past 10 years always had this flexible additional kind of income, but I don't have that right now. And that's one of the challenges, is that I have so many ideas and things running in my head that I want to do and pursue, but also I kind of just want to be happy with where I am and what I have.
Yep.
And so I kind of want to turn that part of my brain off so that I can just like settle in and be, satisfied. But also I like that flexibility of having those, be able to kind of mold the finances to what I want them to do. So yeah, does that answer your question?
It does. So let me ask you a couple more questions, because through asking these questions, we're kind of going to whittle in on the priorities. Okay. Now, with your existing income between you and your husband, with how your household expenses are right now, is paying this $15,000 off with your set income and your set expenses going to happen?
It's totally doable. It's doable.
So completely. It's not like it's mission critical that you're going to create another stream of income right now in order to accomplish that goal.
It's just being consistent and managing things correctly.
Excellent. Okay, great. And how about the house projects? Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So we're not,
for example, we moved into the house, and then we had a list of things that we wanted to do, and then got pregnant, and then had a baby, and then got pregnant again, and then had another baby, and here we are 4 years later. And so we just have this list of things that we've always wanted to be doing and never actually got to any of them.
Absolutely.
So as long as we're following the budget that we've created and everything, then we should be fine to get things done and within the year. We just have to take the leap and do the things.
Okay, so the most important asset here is time, right? Because that's what you're saying. So time is the more valuable resource than money at the moment. And not that money isn't valuable, but it's the one that we're having to be most precious with, correct?
Right.
Okay, now I'm with you on that. Okay, and obviously running a marathon is not an expensive thing to do. That also requires the resource of time in order to do all the training. So, okay, now I got an understanding of what we need to focus on there. Okay, now with I'm going to go back over here to also, you were mentioning that you were a professional organizer for a while, which is really cool. And then now, did you completely close that business when you started working for the landscape division of the city?
Landscape. Oh no. Okay. So my degree is in landscape architecture, and I'm at I'm the economic development coordinator. So, okay. Yeah.
Economic development coordinator. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
no, I did not. Correct?
For the city. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I did not close that completely, but at this point, I would say it's now closed. We're done. We're doing that. Yeah.
You totally turned your focus away from it, and you're putting all your effort and energy into the job. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm looking at your question number 3. It says you were doing the professional organization, and now you want to
we can just skip that one. Yeah, we can just skip that one.
Okay, you're going to put that completely on hold.
Put that on the back burner. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say that was why I was bringing it up again, because I'm feeling like what you're leaning toward here already is how to create quiet for yourself.
Yes.
Is that right? How to quiet those overachieving voices in your head to allow you to have some boundaries and some peace and some inner focus. Is that accurate?
Yes, I would say that is accurate.
Okay, so do you remember way back in the day? Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to say do you remember. I'm going to ask it differently. Have you ever gone through the long-term life vision exercise that I have?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year vision mapping tool, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When's the last time you did that?
I did the The whole thing has probably been a while. I did
Okay.
the 1 year a couple of months ago.
Okay. And obviously you're in a fairly new phase of life now,
Yes.
right? Young
Yes.
mother, babies at home, full-time job, out of the house, lots of stuff going on. So I have a suggestion.
Okay.
My suggestion is that you take this opportunity of the quarantine and transform it into what we're going to call a cocoon of clarity.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to go inward and you're going to use this time to get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Okay. I am a big believer that clarity is the biggest secret superpower of every superwoman. Okay. So clarity of vision, clarity of mind, clarity of focus, all of these things, clarity of action, so that you know where to put your time, your effort, and your energy all the time. And there's no
Yes.
overwhelm, because as you know very well, that an overwhelmed mind does nothing. And when you've got these voices in your head that are very common for overachievers, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And because you mentioned over here that you're a CD personality, so you are a CD and I'm a DC, and you're saying that yours are kind of flip-flopping back and forth. So whichever one comes first, you're still a raging perfectionist. Okay. And it should all have been done yesterday. Right. So
Yes.
I used to have a mentor that said I was a walking migraine because I wanted everything done perfectly and I wanted it done yesterday. So what we have to learn how to do is to basically become the drill sergeant of our own mind, because we're very good at being the drill sergeant for everyone else, right? So we've got to learn how to, and that's where your clarity is going to come in. Okay, so what I would invite you to do is carve out some time. I would say 5 hours total. Like, it doesn't have to be all in one chunk of time, but if you can find like a couple hours here, a couple hours there, over the next week or two, it will give you all the clarity that you need. And what I would do if I were you is pull out that long-term vision sheet again. It's on my website, or I can send you a new one, and sit down and go through that exercise. Put everything that you want to do that's on that mental list of yours of the things that you want to accomplish, because for you, it's not like things I want to accomplish before I die. It's things that I want to accomplish in the next 5 minutes. Like, you want them all, like right now, right? So when you
Yes.
can give yourself the gift of knowing, yes, I'm going to get to all of these. Here's the plan of when I'm going to get to them. So the rest of you can just shut up, right? You can take your turn, and of course you're talking to the voices in your head, not to anyone in your family, right? So you've got all these tasks, you've got all these goals, you're very excited about them because they're amazing, they're going to make a difference for people, they're going to help change the life of your family and all of these things. So when you start to let that piece run in your mind, you can, like, oh my gosh, I want to do all of it right now. And then you've got this other side that says, okay, but this is where I am in this phase of life. And these are the other things that are pulling at me. So we've got this mental tug of war happening, right?
Yes.
So if you can take that list of all the things you want to accomplish and literally map them over your long-term life vision, that is going to give you that inner peace, that patience, that inner knowing that comes from, I've got a plan for it. It's here. I'm going to do this one in March. I'm going to do this one in November. I'm going to do this one in 2021. And all of them will have their time in the sun. And then it allows me to be present to the moment and give my absolute best to where I am right now, where I'm holding, what my priorities are right now, where my family is right now, and everything can function. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
yes,
I can tell you honestly, especially with where you're holding right now, that there is not a frenetic, urgent panic for immediate cash, where it's more about just managing, doing a good job of managing what you've got in regard to time and money. I think that's going to be your best bet. How do you feel about that?
That feels good. I think, yes, I see all of that, and it makes a lot of sense. And now just to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we have to remember is that, okay, every single person on the planet has one common equalizer, and that's the currency of time.
Yep.
Right? We all have 168 hours in a week. We've all got 52 weeks in a year. So this is not new information. But the thing that sets high achievers apart from the rest of the world is their ability to manage that reality. Okay?
Right.
And for you, as a high achieving mom, it's very important because, we've got these different faces within us that come to the forefront depending on which hat we have on at the moment, right? So for you to realize that, I have this vision of the mom that I want to be. And I have this vision of the home that I want to build and how I want to do a really great job in the position that I'm in right now. So how can I be present to the moment and give this picture right now my best without letting all of these other things eat at me and rob my energy? That's going to be your magic sweet spot. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so within that long-term vision and assigning time frames to those things, I think that's going to give you that freedom and that flow that you're looking for. Now, let me ask you something. Within the things that you've got going right now, within the priorities and the responsibilities and the areas of focus that you want to accomplish right now, have you sat down and mapped out a plan for how you want to finish this year? I see your goals and I see your hurdles, but do you have an actual plan of action in place?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So if we're looking at the goals, what were they again? I should know them.
The credit card debt, the house projects, and the marathon.
Yes. Okay. So the debt, we have a plan for that. The house projects, we have a plan for the first two, and then the third one is a little bit bigger. So that's going to kind of may or may not happen.
Okay.
And then the marathon, yes, no, I haven't been in shape for a very, very long time, so I'm trying to ease into it. I used to be a big runner, and I ran a lot in high school and everything, and it took some time, a lot of time off, and so that's going to be a little bit more of a gotta get myself out there. Yeah.
And like every superwoman, you are absolutely going for gusto here with of course I'm going to do it this year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Okay. So for where you're right now, what do you think is going to be your...
So, hold on. So the reason I say run a marathon is because the main goal is I just want to get in shape again. Like I'm tired of fluctuating, and I've been through 6 different sizes in the past 5 years in no particular order, and I'm just ready to be fit again and have the energy and all of that kind of stuff. And so I that's not a goal for me, so I have to put that into some sort of a parameter. And since I've always wanted to run a marathon, and that's another part of the vision kind of thing, is I want our family to be the kind of family that goes out and does these activities and gets outside. And growing up, my dad was a marathoner, and we were always out on the trails doing stuff, and we were always very active. So I want that for my kids. And so if I put that on myself to run the marathon, then by extension, all of these other things happen.
Yeah.
Can you see the strategy?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you selected the marathon?
I would love to do the Disney marathon. I haven't 100% committed to it yet because every time I train for a marathon, I seem to get injured.
Okay.
And also, it's a big financial commitment to go to Disney. Because if I'm going to go to, I want to go to Disney and do all of the Disney parts. So, with all of the other things that are on the financial roster, I don't know that I want to commit to the Disney trip too. Does that make sense?
Yep. So is there another marathon that you could pick from?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
None of them sound as much fun as that one, but yeah.
Right. But in the grand scheme of things, while you're setting your plans, so what I hear you saying is that this would be nice, but it's not mission critical.
Right.
Okay. So is going to Disney for the marathon the part that's nice, or running a marathon itself would be nice?
Going to Disney for the marathon is the part that would be nice.
Okay. So maybe, and again, what I hear you saying is that, yeah, it would be nice to do, but these other things are more of a priority, right?
Yeah.
So
basically, I just need to pick a different marathon and make the commitment and do it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing you say. Okay? Because it's like, it would be nice to have, but blah, blah, blah. So what I am thinking is that would be really awesome to yourself, just to give yourself permission to release that.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe you want to just get your first marathon under your belt this year, and then maybe you want to do that next year. Or maybe you're going to see if you even like running a marathon. And if not, then you're just going to go to Disney next year without the marathon. Okay. So give yourself permission not to bundle all of those things together. Okay. And then I most definitely would find and pick the other marathon that you're going to aim for and put it on your calendar. Because until then, as you know, a goal without a plan and a timeline is just a wish.
Yes.
Okay. And I also can tell already by your personality that when you've just got these floating wishes, like, on your radar, they also eat at your integrity. Your integrity with yourself, right?
Yeah.
So don't say that it's a goal and a plan until it really is. Otherwise, it messes with your head.
Yes. Got it.
Until then, it's like this thing that's on my bucket list that I'm going to pull from it one day, and it's floating out there, but it's not my goal and it's not my plan yet.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So are we going to run a marathon on there, or are we going to only focus on the first two?
We've got 8 months to go. I'm going to leave it on there. I think I can do it.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my assignments this week for myself would be find the new marathon, get it on the calendar.
Yeah.
And then make an appointment with yourself to map out your training plan.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't have to be this week, but what I would do is make the appointment with yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And even if it's in a month from now, you still made the appointment. It's like, okay, I got to go get a root canal. It's then a month from now. At least I don't have to think about it between now and then. Right? And so what we want to do is we want to have as much respect for ourselves as we have for everyone else. And how do we live our dream life? We schedule it. So that's
it's funny because so many of the strategies I implement in like some areas, but not all areas.
Absolutely.
So it's like, well, of course I do this.
Hello, right. And especially with you being a professional organizer, it's much easier to do all those things for other people than it is to have to turn around and do them for ourselves, right?
Yep. There's a reason we're looking at the back of my bed right now and not the rest of the room right now.
I can definitely.
Although you can do those snazzy new backgrounds. Did you see those?
I did.
I don't know how to do it.
It's in your settings. It's in settings to pick your background.
Oh, well. Should have picked one of those West Elm.
I know. Then we'd be much cooler, wouldn't we? Yeah. Okay. All right. So now that we've got that in place, let's take a look at a couple of these other ones, the need for validation and the fear of success. Okay? Because we looked at chasing multiple goals in multiple areas, and that really boils down to clarity of focus and your time management. So I'll give you an example. For myself, I had set 5 very specific goals for 2020. Okay. You know, I was launching a new company. I was getting my school expansion funded. I was writing a couple of books. Like, there were things that were pretty big that, you know, just accomplishing one of them, I should be okay with. But no, I needed to do all 5, right?
Right.
As we do. So
Yes.
I knew that the key to my sanity and my productivity and my success for this year was assigning different time frames to each of those goals. Because if I had all 5 of them at the forefront of my mind all year, where I was just trying to do a little bit of all of them at once, I was never going to get anywhere. Because as you know, when we try to be all things to all people, we end up being nothing to no one, including ourselves.
Right.
So there were, you know, a few of my goals that I knew, for example, when I assigned the dates or the rough time frames to them, like, for example, one of them, I'm not even thinking about that goal until September. Because from September to December, that's when I had whittled in that I'm going to attack that one. And, you know, I had another goal that was very, very big on my plate in January and February. Now, once I've accomplished that one, I mark that one off and it's gone. Like, I don't even have to look at that one anymore. So now I've got 4 goals left in the next, you know, 8 months, etc. So by looking at your 12 months and literally assigning it almost like a game of Tetris, then that
Tetris when I was
little. Oh, I love it. That gives you the clarity of focus that you need so that you aren't overwhelmed.
We have a visitor.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Does that make sense?
Daddies? These aren't daddies. These are mommies. I need you to be quiet, please. Okay, go ahead.
So if you look at number 4 with all your projects and ideas and how to let go of the guilt and the excitement and focus on the others, that's my recommended solution. Were you able to catch me on that?
Yes. Because when you're only focusing, you're really only focusing on one at a time anyway. You've just assigned the other ones different.
And when you assign those, it gives you the freedom of mind that you're not, it's not like weighing on you. You know, you've got like those mental bombs that are going off all the time, trying, what about this and what about it? And I can't forget it. So when you assign them, when you set your reminders, when you set your alarms, when you make your appointments with yourself, whatever the case may be, then you have the mental silence. You've got that quiet in your head so that you can focus and be present with whatever's going on right now.
But she's really quiet.
She's quiet because she's in my headphones. Only I can hear her. Come here. You want to say hi? This is Copper.
What's your name?
Say hi. She said, "What's your name?" Can you tell her what your name is? No. Okay. You can sit there and play with Tubby. Or sit right here. Okay.
What's her name?
Copper. Copper with a K.
Oh, so cute. Okay. So, we ready to keep going?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, last thing. Now, I want to ask you about this this thing with the validation, because the validation and the fear of success and the failure, those are very much actually connected to each other. So I figure that's a good one for us to wrap up on, right?
Yes.
Okay. So have you identified, are you clear on, is it validation from a specific person, from a specific group of people, from just the world in general?
Like to be told that I'm doing a good job.
Okay. Does it matter who's telling you?
No. I mean, it's probably weighted. Like, you know, certain people have a higher weight than others, but for the most part, I just like to be validated and told that I'm doing things the right way.
Absolutely. So in your life, like for example, within your family, whether it's your spouse, your parents, you know, close connections, are you able to get that part of you met, that need of yours met within your inner circle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you have
So,
a
like-
relationship where you're literally able to walk up to them and say, I need you to validate me right now. Here's where I'm holding. And then you go, okay,
Yeah,
check the box and walk away.
Probably do. I've never actually done that before because it feels a little silly. But
It does feel silly, but I can tell you it is such a freeing experience. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, why did I never think of that before? Once you've actually done it one time.
yeah.
Because when you can almost like name your insanity, like, you know, like when you can give this thing
Yes.
a name and then you can address it. And then I can promise you, like, if you were to walk up to your spouse and say, I need you to validate me right now. He's like, really? That's all you need? Okay, well, here's what I think. And then you're like, oh, bingo, you know, and your cup is full and you can walk away. And I know from working with my own husband, you know, that we have a lot of these conversations. He says, you know, men really need to be programmed. You know, tell me what you want me to say, and I am more than happy to say it. But for the life of me, I cannot figure it out on my own. Okay. And you know, we have these conversations where there are a lot of men over here talking together, and they're like, yes, 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 he's speaking on behalf of all men. If you will tell us what you need, we are more than happy to give it to you because we are clueless to figure it out on our own. Right?
Yes.
And you know, as women, we're actually wired to need validation from our spouse. And if we don't get it there, then we go looking for it in other areas. So I feel like when that piece of your cup is full, it's going to give you a lot of fuel.
Yes. I think they're just different languages too, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as the old saying goes, Mars, Venus, we know it's true.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Then last but not least, as far as the fear of the failure and the fear of the success, have you defined for yourself what is failure and what is success?
Yes and no. So like I feel like the last time I did the exercise, I went through and defined success, but then I didn't actually believe it. You know what I mean? Like in reality, I can see like, yes, that would be successful, that would be great and everything, but I really want more than that. You know what I mean? It's hard to like just say that's enough. So
yeah.
Does that make
sense?
sense?
So 2 things. Number 1, saying that's enough for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you map out your goals for the year and your long-term life vision goals, don't stop until you love it.
Okay.
Okay. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. And not just that you love the idea of it, not like it would be nice to have, but do you also love the idea of what it would take to become it, to create it?
Right. That was the next thing was like, oh, okay, well, I can make that list, but then how do I fit that all?
Yeah. So you have to love the reality of what it looks like to pay the price.
Yes. Got it. Yeah.
So when you're going through that whole exercise, then that's going to give you that release. Okay. And usually, you know, there are a lot of acronyms for fear, right? You know, false evidence appearing real, fudge everything and run, face everything and rise. Okay, there are all these great analogies for fear, but the reality is fear usually stems from a lack of data. In other words, when we don't know exactly what it is that we're looking at or facing, then this thing grows. It becomes like so big and hairy in our head, and our imagination runs away with us. So just like you want to define success, if you're really struggling with the fear of failure, I would also take the time and define failure.
Yeah.
Okay. What does failure mean? Because normally when we really stop and get clear on what failure means, we're like, oh, well, that's not failing.
Right.
But it's this unknown, like this ambiguous cloud that's in our head. And once we define it, it goes away.
Yeah. So then follow-up question.
Yeah.
Once I have the success all mapped out and I'm in love with the list and the process and all of that stuff, when I miss a day or I fall off for a month or something like that, how do you let go of the guilt of not? Because, okay, so I packed my 12 months full. This is what I was going to do. April poof. So how do you kind of bounce back into that? I'm going to get all of these things done. What, honey?
What's her name?
Her name's Chaya. Can you say Chaya? Okay.
Okay, so every strategy comes with two things: a contingency plan,
Okay.
and a buffer.
Okay.
Okay. So if your situation is so packed that there is not any margin for error,
yeah,
the only contingency plan and buffer is understanding that it may push.
Okay.
The dates may push. Okay. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, if it takes 15 months instead of 12 months across the course of 20 years, is
right.
that still success?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in today's world, we know that everything that can go wrong will.
Hello.
Yeah. Yep. So when we put the plan together, it's not as if our life is going to unravel and fall apart if this doesn't happen. And we know that it will go wrong. We know that things will mess up. We know that the dates will probably push slightly. And that's okay, because we know that we're still going to end up massively ahead by starting with the plan than from operating with no plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So I think what this is about really, Kayleigh, is about managing the expectations with yourself.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Just like when you're going to sign a contract or go into a partnership with a new client or a new partner, you got to get really clear on all of those pieces. And when you can do that with yourself, you're going to feel so much better about the plan of attack from the beginning. Because what I'm hearing you say is sometimes that reality or that fear of knowing that the dates are going to slide, or I fell off the wagon, or I got off track, that fear of failure is sabotaging you before you ever start.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the things, let me just show you something that I'm doing right here. Okay. I started a 22-month goal with myself. Okay. Yes. And one of the things that I'm doing right here, just to show you, this is my version of tracking where I'm holding with the goal. Okay. What the colors mean, that is not necessarily critical for you to understand this, but what this is allowing me to do is to track my own consistency. Okay. So do you see like the X marks are completely falling off the wagon? Okay. Yeah. That's a lot of X marks in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. What that means is that it's taking me a little while to hit my rhythm. Okay. But rather than allowing that to sabotage me before I start, this is giving me permission to start ugly.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I've got 22 of these pieces of paper at the end, and the first page is mostly black marks and X's, but the second page has fewer X's and the third page has almost no X's.
Right.
Then I know it took me a little while to get a running start, but because I was willing to start ugly, I got started.
Right.
So every time I hit an X mark, I don't throw the whole paper out and start over. I go, okay, I'm getting into my rhythm.
Yeah.
Make sense?
It's a much healthier way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. It only took me 10 years to figure that out. Okay. All right. Has this been helpful for you?
Yes, absolutely.
Any questions for me before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think you gave me some good homework, and I have some better frameworks around things. So
awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Well, I know we're all going to be looking forward to hearing your progress and your results as you go along. So I hope you're going to keep us posted so we can all cheer for you along the way. And if you have any quick tweaking questions or anything you want my input on along the way, certainly feel free to holler at me. I'm happy to help.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your quarantine.
Oh,
bye.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.